Busy, a word that is used quite a lot in today's world. I definitely think more so than it ever has been. In this video, I'm going to talk about the word busy and how it is used a lot in just like casual conversation today. I've just kind of noticed this more in the past couple of years, but we're just going to explore it today and probably not get to a fundamental solution, but maybe I'm just going to rant and maybe open up your mind about it. This has been an idea which I've wanted to do for some time, something that I've observed people say a lot in conversation or generally. It seems to be something that's normalised, not just the word busy, but also a sense of being busy, so constantly filling up your days with activities, even to the point of months and years. Where does this come from? Why is this a thing? Because if we're saying that we're busy quite regularly and we're constantly filling up our days with things, then it's got to be a obsession or fixation of some sort. Usually with obsessions and fixations, it's a way of either covering up something or wanting to control something or not feeling satisfied with something in our own lives, so we'll use something external to help fill up that hole or fill that deficiency. Is this just me? If you're watching this and you're kind of hearing what I'm saying, does this feel real to you in your lives? I think for me recently, and I say recently more in the past couple of years, because I have been in a situation of unemployment a lot, or kind of constantly switching around things, whether that's like people, situations, ideas of the job I want, what direction I want to go. In a way, it led me to have more free time than maybe others around me, because I am quite a introspective, reflective person. This only comes with more time to ponder and dwell on things, whereas I feel like a lot of people around me, the world around me, is less inclined to do that and less inclined to thus in tune with more of those introspective and deep parts of themselves. I feel that when we say we're busy a lot of the time, it's, in fact, even most of the time, I'd say, or at least a vast majority of the time, it's kind of like a surface level thing to say. We might be going through or feeling something else, but we'll say we are busy as a way of summing up what's happened. It does kind of bug me because I feel it just normalizes our constant need to be doing things and to validate ourselves through external things, for our lives, through our careers, through accomplishments, achievements. And there's nothing wrong with this. This is very healthy, although what I'm describing is when it becomes a means of fundamentally feeling validated, but nothing external or surface can fill that need, right? Nothing, no matter how much we do that, how much we try to accomplish that. And in many ways, this constant need to feel busy and productive all the time, I think, is maybe the main thing, or if not one of the main things, that's causing a lot of suffering and social issues. I mean, it has been said time and time again about capitalism and consumerism, but even more so how we are all subject to this, right? We can't help but constantly do all the time, and this only takes away from being truly content with ourselves and being in tune with what we really want. I also kind of can't tell whether when people describe themselves as being busy or describe their lives as busy or being a busy person, whatever, if it is like genuine or if it is a distraction. It's commonly assumed that if you are busy or someone says they're busy, it's a negative thing instantly. It's that, oh, so busy. But then when we're not busy or not occupied with things to do, we learned this during the pandemic a lot of the time, you know, this even torturous feeling and sense of what do I do with my time? Who am I if I'm not working all the time and I don't have my 9 to 5 or my usual routine? This is a big existential dilemma, a crisis during times as a collective when there has been such things as a pandemic or economic crisis. We don't have our careers or jobs, which usually in a conventional sense is how most people in the Western world at least fill their time with, is their work. This sense of unease and what does satisfy us, is it having things to do all the time, or is it having nothing to do? The obvious answer is the middle ground of having things going on but also having enough free time. Yeah, I feel like even this middle ground can become like an ideal, like the work-life balance, kind of self-help, perfect manifested world, except this not only doesn't feel real to our lives but also isn't really realistic, because life is all over the place a lot of the time, and it's really unrealistic and kind of really harsh on ourselves to expect this of ourselves all the time. These things are true, like it is true. We need this balance. We need time by ourselves, purpose and meaning beyond ourselves, whether that's work, volunteering, goals, hobbies. However, a really beautiful thing I've realised more recently is actually I can be content with whatever happens, and I can be okay with things changing, whether my life gets really full-on, scheduled, so to speak, or if it's more free. This sounds easy on paper, and I don't mean it to sound like, oh yeah, just empty your schedule completely and walk in a great national park and live in a cabin. I don't mean that. I mean more in the sense of what I've discovered through my own life. When we do have an endless stretch of time ahead of us, it can feel really scary because we're coming face to face with ourselves, also, as well as all the cultural stigma of being unproductive and not working. It is still a challenge for me, like even at the moment of Christmas and things, I have more free time than I usually have in the past few weeks, and it is scary. Like at points it's like, oh my god, what am I going to do? Is it going to be really awful? Am I going to be really unproductive? Am I not going to achieve things? However, there's just much more of a sense of like, it's okay, nothing terrible can happen, and it's probably meant to be. It's a great time for being creative and understanding myself more, and who knows what could happen in those days. And even if I am struggling, I'm much more able to be with that and know that from past experience those things do pass more. And I'm aware when I say this it sounds really straightforward on paper. What I would say is that it's just all everyday life practice, and maybe just reevaluating or looking at, okay, so if I do have a really busy schedule or I have a lot of things going on, is it fulfilling me? Are these things that I can let go in? Are these things I can let go of in replacement of new things which fulfill me more? Are there moments, just small moments in my everyday life where I do feel like I can take a breath out and kind of breathe, and times where actually I do have moments of freedom and I can pick up that hobby I've always wanted to have a go at, or draw more, or read more, or spend time more with my best friend, or whatever it might be. Recognizing even the smallest micro moments. Flash forward to about a week, and I've talked a lot in that video, and it got to the point where I was kind of repeating myself a lot, and I also had to see a friend, so I was rushing. So I'll finish it off now, hopefully more clearly and more concise. Definitely recognizing these small moments when we do have freedom, when we can relax, and when we can do what we enjoy doing, adds up when we simply be aware of those things every day. And this, combined with generally being more aware of how we're spending our time and how we're using it in a more present way, it can really revolutionize our lives and can help us live a more fulfilling life in the way we want to, as opposed to what we feel we're expected to do. A lot of the time when we are busy, we feel compelled to do things, often not because we really want to, but because we feel we need to be productive, and a lot of the time we need to do what other people expect us to do, or the expectations we have in our own mind about what we're supposed to do. These things are malleable and shapeable, ultimately. This is naturally a process and it takes time, but definitely just beginning on this can really help us and really remind us that we can live the lives that we want to live. Thank you for watching. This video is, I'd say, more of a gentle one than the other ones I've done. Definitely want to just open the new year with something not too big and not too epic, so to speak. Not that my other videos have been particularly epic, but yeah, have a great new year. Goodbye.